Hello, I'm Dylan. I'm alive. I'm okay.
What if someone you had never seen before created an entire fantasy life around the two of you online?
Thank you for all of your concern and your support during this.
Proclaiming to millions of people that you two were meant to be together. Talking about plans of a future family. Saying that you two were bonded.
Thank you to everyone who reached out to make sure that I was okay and that I wasn't in any danger.
And even planning a wedding for a specific date.
And found my band, links to my Facebook and my social media accounts.
Well, unfortunately for a man named Dylan Sperry, that what if became a reality. There's an interesting story making its way across TikTok right now, and honestly it's pretty disturbing. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen this show, but a lot of people are comparing this to the TV show called Baby Reindeer. And I understand why. If you watch the show or even know the basic premise of it, the similarities that people are pointing out and connecting are very obvious. This show involves obsession, the feeling of somebody building an emotional connection in their head that doesn't even exist. The show is a psychological drama about a comedian whose life slowly spirals after a woman becomes obsessively attached to him and begins stalking him, eventually creating a fantasy version of the relationship in her head. And that's the part that people are locked into. At the center of the story are two people, a man named Dylan Sperry and a woman named Timber Bowman, also known as Timber Sperry.
Timber is somebody who was in prison, and while she was in prison, she had spiritual guidance, a vision that tells her when she gets out, she's going to meet the man of her dreams, the person she's going to marry. The spiritual guidance even tells Timber that he's going to have long hair, lots of tattoos.
Yeah, if I were Dylan and I heard that, I'd be looking for the first barbershop that pops up on maps. Then I'd be walking around with a fake mustache and nose glasses.
He's going to have an infant, toddler, child. Timber even says that he's in a band.
Sorry, I can't help you. I quit my band. In fact, I don't even know how to play an instrument. I actually golf now.
Of course, when she gets out, Dylan is the one she meets. She says he takes her to the grocery store, and the feelings are just, they're there. The signs are obvious.
Now, you're probably confused. You're like, what do you mean he takes her to the store? It's probably all hazy. But this is where it really starts to connect. Just watch this.
I was a life skills specialist or a direct support professional for a company working with people with special needs. And this person was a client to this company. This person, I believe, overheard a conversation I was having with one of her roommates discussing rock and roll music and talking about my band, and found my band, and through that links to my Facebook and my social media accounts, and kind of ran with it.
Now, once I heard these details, I started to look at the situation a lot differently. It kind of went from like this TikTok scandal to real questions being raised, like mental health concerns and boundaries. Now, obviously, none of this excuses the harassment, but it's like, take her phone. Take her phone. Why aren't y'all taking her phone? And this is a common point that's been brought up. Because, by the way, sorry I didn't mention this earlier, but she's in a facility, like right now. Like, I don't know if none of the staff knows what's going on. I went deeper down the rabbit hole and found out from comments that she's barricading her room. Hey, hold on, why she got a swag, you know? She's basically like a micro celebrity in her room right now, but somebody has to figure out what's going on. Somebody should notify the facility and grab that phone.
She's got an entire wedding date picked out. Dylan says he volunteered for a company who was involved with helping people with their mental health difficulties. The only things that she really says about him, which were specific details, are things that are listed online that somebody online on his social medias would know. Extremely concerning situation.
Her having special needs can help explain why she developed this attachment to him and why she may struggle with boundaries. But Dylan helping her at the facility doesn't mean he gave up his right to privacy, and it doesn't justify the harassment directed at him. This is the part where I got to where it kind of just started opening up this like can of worms. People online were curious. They started doing their own deep dives, their own research, and they found out that
she has charges from another guy who she done this to, and she has harassment charges.
Timber makes a video about why she went to jail for harassment, but it's just pointless to play the video because it makes zero sense. It's just all gibberish. But having this piece of information can help people put together why this situation arose in the first place.
Story time about my baby dad. He just a fucking sperm donor. Nothing to do with him, mom, bro, and mother. She literally is giving me like this spiritual reading, like, oh, in the future, this is gonna happen. You're gonna get pregnant, and then you're gonna have a miscarriage with that kid, and then you're gonna my son, and then you're gonna get pregnant with twins around July of 2023, and then told me that my water would break March 3rd of 2024.
When I first started learning about this story, my initial reaction was really trying to understand it. Because once you get past the surface level clips, memes, and edits, the situation becomes a lot more complicated than people online are making it seem. And it does raise the question of why the facility isn't monitoring her content, or if they even know about it. Especially in such a unique case like this, I think it's reasonable for some fingers to be pointed. I feel pretty bad for this guy because as the days go on, she just keeps on posting. Whether it's about him, whether it's going live, talking about him, whether it's having his music playing in the background. This is actually pretty recent. She actually put up a post about 3 hours ago saying that she's going live on Facebook. I don't know exactly what it's going to be about, but all I know is a lot of people online are encouraging this. My hope for all of this is that it doesn't get any more out of control than what it already is. Whenever something like this hits the main lines of the internet, it always just seems to be a natural recipe for disaster. We've seen this over and over again. And most of the time it gets really strange because once somebody online becomes unusual or unpredictable or emotionally complicated, the internet starts building these fandoms around them. And these are not normal fandoms. And that's where things start to get dangerous. Obsessive communities, groups of people monitoring every post, building fake storylines, building timelines. People get hooked. People get emotionally invested, like they're watching a TV series. I'm even victim of feeding into this by what I'm doing right now. That's why I at least wanted to do some research. I mean, with this situation, I've seen people online shipping them. I've seen people encouraging her to go after him. Like, it's crazy. No amount of criticism can overlook the millions of views and validation these people are getting. And when the internet collectively becomes obsessed with somebody, it creates a feedback loop where the behavior keeps escalating because the attention never stops. Two people whose stories kind of fit this whole narrative was Chris Chan and Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I remember specifically for Gypsy Rose Blanchard, people were romanticizing her whole story, romanticizing her whole life, despite the fact of how dark it was.
I went to prison for 8.5 years because my own mom.
Her mother had abused her for years, using her as a tool to scam people out of money. Dee Dee controlled every aspect of her life, forcing a healthy girl to remain in a wheelchair for 20 years. Dee Dee lied to everyone, claiming Gypsy had leukemia. She shaved her daughter's head and forcibly inserted a feeding tube. Gypsy was forced to take unnecessary medication every day and undergo various pointless surgeries.
They were making edits, stories, memes, all type of stuff. And I went back and watched those videos. Actually, I didn't watch those videos deliberately. I was showed the videos and they were disturbing.
The way it has to be is if we have a girl, she has to lose her to you because you are the master of the household.
She has countless videos like that. She was sending those videos to her boyfriend Nick at the time, who actually ended up helping her with the whole, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole. You guys get the point though. So to think that people can take a situation as crazy as that and as wild and as dark as that and romanticize them and almost create this fantasy narrative around something like that, where it gets to the point where people are so obsessed where they feel like they're attached to the person, it's mind-boggling. And you know what community in particular I blame for this? I blame you Stan Twitter users. I don't want any smoke with y'all, but I blame y'all. Joking. I don't blame the Stan fandom, whatever you want to call them, but a lot of people in that fandom know how to get a story going. They know how to dramatize. They know how to dramatize. They know how to blow up a story. They know how to make the edits. They know how to make everything look clean, cut, ready for entertainment, ready for distribution. But then again, that's a lot of communities. That happens everywhere, not just TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter especially. It happens all the time, and it's just unfortunate. A thing I am happy about is that Dylan is getting a lot of support from people. I hope he has a good support base around him. It seems like he has a really level head. He went about the situation with grace. He handled everything with calmness. But yeah, this story is wild. Currently in post-production. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, comment something like, hey buddy, I don't know. I appreciate you for watching either way. If you didn't like it, it's okay. If you did, thank you so much. And it's only up from here. My name is Justin Volt. I'll see you guys.